6-1 victory. We're going to head stage side where Freak will give us an interview with P1's jungler.
Thank you very much, Dom. Great cast today. I am here with the man who single-handedly took down TSM. Inori, how's it feel?
I just actually feel so good right now. It's hard to describe this feeling, but it's just so good to beat an undefeated team.
I gotta say, you guys looked incredible. The celebration after the game took like 17 minutes because this was honestly monumental. You guys were 0-9 in the first half of the split. You had to win this match to even have a chance of making playoffs. You lose game one, doesn't look pretty. What made you say Rengar?
I think in game one, we kind of got like a good advantage early, but then we just got choked out because their macro play was so good. So going into game two, I just told my team, insta-lock Rengar. And we just built a draft around it, and it worked out.
And were you surprised in any way to see that game three, the Rengar ban comes out?
I was actually surprised because I wasn't planning on picking it because I thought they'd come up with like a cool counter pick, but they just banned it. I was like, okay, I wasn't planning on it anyways, and we just went with Rek'Sai.
So then you come into the beginning of game three, and you get that double kill in mid lane at level 3. At what point do you start realizing, like, oh my god, we can actually beat TSM?
I think after game two, after we won, we realized these guys are mortals, you know? We can actually beat them. And going into game three, like, I don't really think Sven Skaren is that great, so I just kind of like dominated his jungle. And I think our mid lane jungle synergy is better than theirs. I know it's a lot of talk, but I'm really confident, Pyrian and me, so I'm happy about that.
I mean, to be fair, you guys are now, what, 4-2 in the last half of the split. Right now, you've got 3 more matches to play. What are your chances of making playoffs here? You can win if you win out, and Envy doesn't win anymore, and Apex doesn't get more than 1 or 2 here. Is that your goal right now, or are you just saying, let's be the best team we can be?
I think we just look at every win or every game coming up, and we just hope we can win it. We had like a bad showing, so like our standing right now kind of seems weird, but I think we should be ranked a lot higher than we are right now. And I'm going into like the 3 games remaining. I think we can actually win them all.
I agree, especially when you look like that. So then talk to me about your goals for the team then, more long term. You say, okay, we're gonna play our last 3 matches of the split. Maybe it means 7th, maybe it means 8th, who knows what. But does this mean that Phoenix One is now the force to be reckoned with, at least in 2017?
I still think we have a lot of problems we can work on, but I'm glad we got this win out. I just think P1 as an org is actually the best org I've ever been on. I just want to give them a shout out because they gave us everything we needed. And I think part of our success is based off how they treat us as players. And I'm just really like Rob Moore, Michael Moore, they're just great people. Also Eric Mall, I just want to give shout outs to them. And I appreciate all what Phoenix One has done for us.
Absolutely, Inori, thank you very much. I've heard nothing but great things about the organization, about your team. Congratulations on a wonderful win, and now we're going to throw it back to the caster desk.
Great interview, Freak. So we're taking a moment right now. We're going to hear from Doublelift in just a second, but Inori really saying, hey, you know, I can do the Rumble. The Rengar. Yeah, break out the Rengar in the jungle. Let me do what I can do.
He can do the Rek'Sai as well. He can do the Hecarim. He's proved that. So this guy definitely versatile and really has shown some very powerful picks and some very impressive play, especially just how aggressive he plays is fantastic. And P1 have got to be feeling really good.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they're climbing from the bottom, taking a win off of first place TSM, there's going to be some celebration in the P1 house tonight.
No kidding, man. You got to take your wins where you can get them, and this is a massive one to be the team. And there's something just extra special. Sure, it feels good to be TSM, but the fact that you spoiled their season, that it always feels a little bit good, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be memorable for a really long time, and I think that it's something that you can build upon and use that confidence to try to prepare for next season, next split, when you have that stable roster and say, hey, we can beat the best. This is something that's motivating and allows you to want to keep practicing and work harder and get even better.
Well, we're going to go ahead and toss it down to Freak for another interview, this time with TSM's AD Carry.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the time you bought me here. I am with Doublelift, one of the best players in the history of North America, honestly. But this series, I think, incredibly surprising for every fan out there. In your words, sort of what happened? What made this upset?
Oh, man, we just suck, dude. Like, like this week of practice has been really bad. I think we had a really bad read on our team comps and just how we were supposed to play on this new patch. I mean, Azir and Victor got nerfed pretty heavily, and those champions were like, you know, they were really prevalent in the meta before. So I think mid lane was just this big question mark of like, oh, you know, Malzahar is coming in. A lot of people are playing Cassio. Some people are still playing Victor, actually, like Huhi. And so our team comps, we chose to play Talia this week. Like our team comps, maybe our win condition wasn't like super clear, and so we had like a lot of back and forth about that. Just some struggles, you know, like we didn't respect P1 the second game. We kept killing their bottom lane, but then with our lead, like we didn't play off of any objectives. We like ganked top lane, didn't take tower, we ganked bottom lane, killed them both, didn't take dragon. Obviously like the kind of cheese pick with Rengar. I'm not gonna say it tilted us, but like it made it, champions like Rengar changed the way that you have to play the map. So like let's say we were used to playing a certain set way around like a certain objective. Now that we're playing against Rengar on Twitch, it's like we don't have a lot of experience against those champions, so it's really hard for us to set up. And I think as kind of like the objective shot caller on the team, I did just a really bad job this series. Like I was messing up a lot, and I called some really bad fights the last game. Like I didn't realize how strong Malzahar was. Even though he had a good early game, I thought we had kind of caught up in the mid game, and I made some really bad calls that led to us like getting into just these stupid fights. We ended up dying. They got Baron. I think I just could have done a way better job this game, or the whole match actually. So that's probably the main reason why we lost.
Well, that's very sort of big of you to sort of take all the criticism on yourself. But in the few minutes you've had since then, like sort of reflecting, like next time you're in a game like this where you're thrown off by a Rengar, like what would you have sort of done differently if you could have played those games again?
Like this. Okay, so the second game we had Talia Lucian, which is like you usually look for picks and split up fights. But I think because they have Rengar, they also looking for picks and split up fights. So we went into these really chaotic team fights, and Rengar just like clawed our backline's face off really quickly. And we should have noticed right away, like, okay, how we play against Rengar, we ball up. And when he comes in, we just exhaust him and kill him. Just like really basic stuff like this, you'd think it would be like obvious, you know, we're like, what, 14-0 or something like that? Like, we should know this. But I don't know, like, I guess on stage, we kept chasing for kills stupidly. Rengar would just clean up afterwards, like, when we're all scattered looking for kills. We just played so bad, dude. I don't know. And I have to, like, honestly, P1 played well. Like, they played pretty good. But I think this was honestly just us playing really, really bad. This is not how we had been practicing. This is not how we've been playing any other week.
That's fair to say. So Doublelift, then I want to shoot forward then to when you guys probably will play like yourselves. You have an impending showdown with Immortals, which now basically just means first place coming into the playoffs now, right? Beginning of next week. Are you ready for this now? Like, does this loss shake you in any way?
No, I think everyone on the team, even though we lost, there's still smiles, you know, after the game. We kind of know that we shit the bed, and like I don't think we're ever even going to be capable of playing this bad again. Definitely not scared of Immortals. When we scrim them, it goes really well. When last time we played them, it was extremely close, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like when TSM, when we're on, we're like super on. Like the first game, I thought we were on. And that's the TSM I think that's going to end up playing Immortals next week.
So the super on TSM ready for next week. You ready to take #1 at NA, go back to Worlds?
Yeah, of course, dude. I'm sick of the Analyst Desk and going to Worlds.
Doublelift can finally make it back to Worlds. Double, thank you very much. Good luck in your next few matches and good luck in playoffs. Of course, we'll see you there for sure. That's going to do it for us here. Thank you very much, Doublelift, once again. Let's throw it over to the Analyst Desk.
Not only has the Phoenix risen from the ashes, the Phoenix is now flying. Dyrus, I see you're taking this loss a little harder than some. For those of you who are unaware, Dyrus did tweet before Game 3, if TSM loses this game, I will shave my head. That is why he is sitting here stoically unimpressed, at least to some degree. However, we need to talk about this statement game, this statement series from Phoenix. You're having a lot of fun with this.
The shot of Dyrus is just tragic.
No, but we do. Like, here's the thing. This was an incredible run back from Phoenix 1.
Right.
Both Game 2, which we already had the opportunity to talk about, but also Game 3. We heard from both players here, and Inori talks a little bit about, you know, for them, it's just about one game at a time. Let's see what we can do. For Doublelift, he doesn't feel like they played very well, but Phoenix 1 found their opportunity to throw TSM off of their game, a game that they'd been playing consistently for 17 games straight, undefeated.
And you can say there were some cheese picks here or there, but I think there were a number of fundamental things that P1 did right, like the ability to make all those plays mid. Those are meta champions and meta matchups, and they're just exploiting the fact that they got ahead. They're able to dive the Cassio in the Malzahar passive usage and not getting ulted back. Like, there's a number of things that they're doing correctly to snowball this advantage. You can say we're not used to the Twitch, we're not used to the Rengar, but at some point it's beyond that, and it's just about the fact that P1 played super well.
I think one of the key things was the Malzahar pick on top of the ganks from Inori. They were really well timed, and Malzahar's kind of hard to counterplay unless you have QSS.
Very much so. That ultimate is a very easy go button in terms of initiation, but I do want to run through a couple replays of that early action from the game. Just 3 minutes into the game, we have a 2-for-0 in favor of Phoenix 1 in the mid lane off of one of those Inori ganks that you just talked about.
Right, so he comes over the wall and he's able to get on top of Bjergsen. They're dropping the damage on to chase down. It's a last-second flash. And you see this last auto come in right there, dings him, and then
It actually switches the E over to Sven, too.
Right, so the fact that he dies sets up Sven to die as well, where potentially if Bjerg gets out, Sven kills one back, and so just that first kill really changes into the second. It's a very well played where they really got the last ticks of damage in that they needed.
Yeah, and then they utilize this lead correctly. We're going to fast forward to just 6:50 into the game, return gank to the mid lane. This time we're bringing one more person with us. It's going to be a 3-for-0 total in favor of Phoenix 1.
Right.
This is kind of what I was talking about earlier. It's kind of hard to counterplay Malzahar without the QSS, and since they snowballed early, they were able to do that dive up middle, and just looks like they got out.
Yeah, with just the aid of the GP ult, the two of them essentially are able to take a 2v3.
And you see that turn potential that Malzahar has, where like once one drops, it shifts right over, and that swarm of void links keeps growing, and you get the first kill. The second guy's like, oh, where'd my buddy go?
Right. And so this was a 5-kill advantage for Phoenix 1 super early into the game. Now, of course, we did see it slow down a little bit, a couple traded kills here and there. About a 2K gold advantage is what it rested at for a significant portion of the game. But TSM not necessarily able to, like we're typically used to seeing them do, find a new way to get an advantage. We're so used to them when they are at a disadvantage, when they're lacking in tempo or behind the pace, they create a play in order to get back into it. They weren't able to find that really here.
One of the big reasons why it was like that is because it felt like the team comps was made in a way where TSM couldn't make any really big plays. For example, Malzahar's passive, once you break the shield, 1 second after, there's a 90% reduction. And Malzahar is just really hard to abuse, even though he's immobile, because he gets that shield back really fast. Later on in the levels, like Malzahar passive comes up every, I think, 6 seconds or something. I don't know, something ridiculous like that. And since Inori was playing extremely solid, he never let go of his lead, never gave any sprees away. Zig would just farm. They got Twitch scaling, and they just used the middle of the map to control.
Yeah, and just like GP is the same way, where it's a little hard to pin him down. He has the
He's got the orange.
He's got the oranges to get out. And more importantly, he has his global ultimate. So it's a little bit of like this little handicap you're giving yourself, where a team who might manipulate waves better and set up dives, you now have a tool to go against that and really just ult the wave and I'll back off and be safe, and then we have tempo advantage somewhere else on the map.
Well, and at the same time, you're very happy to scale on the side of Phoenix 1,
too.
right? You've got a GP as long as the Malzahar, and then the Twitch, as we know, is a team-fighting monster when it comes to later in the game. I do want to take a look at our Baron replay, 21 minutes of the game, but 4 for 3 for Phoenix 1, so from a kill standpoint, not super lopsided, but they will secure this Baron and also win the fight following.
Yeah, it was a well-played Baron by P1 where they get the suppression off. And you were talking about the Twitch. Watch him here. He gets mostly untouched this fight, and he's just ulting through multiple members there. He's going to get double up really low before finishing him off with the help of Inori. And Zig is another threat where they're able to kill him. So even though it was the Malzahar who snowballs, you have 2 other hyper-scaling characters in the other side lanes. So it becomes this very threatening comp where no matter who you focus, someone else is going to pick up the slack.
Yeah, P1 played it really well for the 5 versus 4, but what made it possible was the triple chain combo by Zig, where he just hit the Baron and hit Biofrost. He had Flash and Exhaust up, but yeah, that was really brutal. That was what made it all possible.
Yeah, he didn't even have a chance to react to that, and we didn't even see it on screen when it happened initially. We had to get a replay of it because it happened off screen so quickly. Absolutely great play by him. It's kind of an unsung hero of this squad, being very much a rock and almost unnoticed, at least in this series in the top lane, because so much focus was on Inori and Pyrian in the mid lane. And then, of course, we're going to have to talk about Inori as player of the game. 6-0-10 on Rek'Sai. He went big on Rengar. They banned it out. He says, that's not going to work, guys. I've got other things I can play, and I can play them just as well.
Right. We were talking about the Malzahar ban potentially being more important than the Rengar. You hear Inori didn't even want to play Rengar for a second time in a row, but he just picks the Rek'Sai and is able to have just as big of an impact, if not more, because it didn't take till level 6 to really start turning things on. It was just a huge performance from him.
Yeah, very much so. Very strong jungler. Great pickup for that roster. They should be happy to have him. Now, though, to follow up on a story we started tracking earlier in the broadcast, Doublelift's pursuit for 1,000 regular season kills. Here we are now updated at 970. So we're within 30 here, within striking distance with 3 matches left to play. Of course, that's a minimum of 6 games, maximum of 9. So well within the range. That's an average of 5 kills per game if they stay at that minimum 6. Definitely doable, but they do have to shape up their play. I mean, performances like this in losses, you're much less likely to get those kills.
I think team comp-wise, that'll really attribute to whether Double gets kills or not, because that game is Sivir. There's not much you can really do against that comp. And since Sivir is so short-ranged against a lot of like mid to long-range damage dealers, he wasn't able to get a lot of kills.
The one thing that's going in his favor, of course, is the Immortals matchup that they'll play. Those will probably be bloody. Yeah, pretty bloody.
All right, so we'll look forward to that one. And there's a huge amount of importance placed on that matchup now because of this TSM loss. The fact that they're now tied in terms of record could mean that first place will hinge on that matchup next week, and we'll get to that. We did have a full day of big comebacks here at the North American LCS, and some of you were highlighting, or lighting up Twitter rather, with the hashtag LCS Big Plays to call out your favorite moments. Now, the earlier series was electric. Now, Jojo Narvante shouted out, that comeback is unbelievable. Here's the fight that decided CLG and Liquid series.
All right, boys. This is our fight. Here we go.
Yeah, they're fighting.
They're going on Jane.
I'm on there.
Sir. Nice. Watch it. Look at Cass. There's no push.
I'm looking. I got Cass.
Nice. Watch Lucian. Switchy driver.
Nice stun.
I've lost Lucian. Lucian.
We can end mid. End mid, boys.
Holy shit. Let's go. Come on.
Would you believe it? They were losing the whole time, and Counter Logic Gaming takes down Liquid in the match of the week.
My favorite thing there was that in the post-game interview, Afro was like, you have to have a positive mentality. And I was thinking that's kind of just like, you say it in the interview. But you actually heard right at the start of that fight, he's like, this is our fight, let's go.
Yeah.
And to actually have that mindset from losing most of that game is actually amazing, because I think most players, even if they're not like quiet and tilted, they're not that outwardly optimistic.
Yeah, it really goes to show that Afro is just a huge veteran and is mentally strong.
I can only imagine, too, yeah, especially hearing it from your veteran and your shot caller, right? I'm sitting here as the AD, maybe worried about how this fight will go. When I hear my shot caller has confidence, I'll enter the same fight with confidence. It pays off for him in that when they do pick up the series. Now, we heard a roar from the crowd when Inori went huge in Game 2 against TSM. Adam Hone tweeted out, can a whole game be an LCS big play? That was amazing. Let's check out Inori's big moment.
Rushing down right now. The last next turn, teleport being used. It's too late. It's going to go down before the TP comes in. Cancelled. Match gets the kill. Inori's on the Nexus. I cannot believe it. This could be it. They're able to spoil TSM off the back of Inori. Another kill.
I can just end.
There's stereo.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 here.
You should pick now.
Hey, stop. Kill. Nice.
Woo! Let's fucking go.
Kill that base.
Kill it. Oh shit, he can't end.
Can you end?
Oh my god.
Lifesteal.
Where we go?
Nice.
I love that moment from Gate. Like, he's clapping, it's already over, and then he makes the realization, like, oh, some of them got back. They might actually be able to defend this.
Right.
Hands back on the keyboard.
Right.
What a moment, though, and what a way for especially a newer, younger rookie to be, to kind of make his name, make his statement in the North American LCS to unseat, in a sense, our undefeated TSM.
Yeah, I have to really give it to Inori. He was the backpack that his team needed, and his team just followed up really, really well.
Right, and the best part being that it wasn't like a one-off, like, oh, that's great, they won Game 2, it was a little crazy game. But the fact that he's able to perform once again in Game 3 and basically carry them for the second time in a row against the best team in the league is amazing.
Now, with those results from today, I want to take a look at standings. And Immortals, well, they have snagged first place by a narrow margin. Now, 1-match win over TSM. Granted, they have played 1 extra game, so TSM still has the chance to tie it up. But they are going to have to reclaim their throne, against Immortals next Friday night. Cloud9's win today pulls them into 3rd. Meanwhile, Counterlogic Gaming climbed up into a 4th place tie with Liquid after they took them down in a 3-game series. NV6 in 6th place with Apex just behind. 8th place is a tie between Energy and Phoenix One, and now looking for a late season playoff push out of both of those squads. In 10th, 6 Echo Fox, who have been eliminated from playoff contention. They will be in the promotion tournament. Now let's see what's in store tomorrow. We start the day off in the Battle Theater where TSM goes head-to-head with Team Envy trying to even it up with Immortals before Echo Fox face off with Counterlogic Gaming. And on NALCS 1, Energy will take on Liquid, then Cloud9 will face off against the rising Phoenix 1. Hope you're ready for that one. Jensen he tweeted out, we face off against the powerhouse P1 tomorrow. And I gotta be honest, if I see that performance out of Phoenix 1 and I'm Cloud9, what was maybe a very confident matchup for me coming into the weekend, I'm now a little bit tentative about. I'm gonna be approaching this matchup with caution.
I think that C9 will have more preparation because they saw a game against TSM. They'll kill any complacency that C9 has. They'll maybe look at Rengar, Malzahar, and even Shen and Hecarim still from before.
Definitely benefiting from being the second team to play Phoenix 1 this weekend.
For sure, but at the same time, like Dyrus said, there are a number of strategies we've seen P1 be successful on, especially when they have some kind of tools, some globals, or some easy engage, and then you look at Hecarim, Shen, GP, Malzahar, potentially a Twitch as well, and it starts being this thing where you actually are not just banning out one cheese strat you saw once, you're banning out a number of things.
Yeah, well, what a crazy way to end the day here at the North American LCS, and just makes me all that much more excited for the remaining games we have in this regular season. Though now it is time for myself, Mark Dyrus, the casters, and the entire live crew to bid you a good night, and thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.